Hi, can you tell us a bit about your background?
Hi, so my name is Shekinah. I'm 32. Um, I was born in Ghana, raised and born in Ghana. When I was 13, we moved to the UK, and at the moment, I'm a nursery manager.
Wow, and can you tell us a bit about how you came to meet Pastor Lumi?
Yes, so I was in a very difficult situation at that time. I was looking for a job. So we had a mutual friend that I used to go to church with that also knew Pastor. And I told her, you know what, I'm looking for a job. I need a job that will pay me in cash so that I can be able to just help myself, with my little spending here and there. Then I think a week after, the mutual friend called me and told me that you've got a job for me. I was like, thank God. But she didn't say anything about the person in details. She just said, I have to go and do an admin stuff. And I said, oh, admin, very easy. Why not? And the amount she told me I'll be paid for was so good. So I was like, sure, why not? So on the day I came and it was Pastor Lumi. And he was so very nice to me. He was so kind. He told me what I have to do. It had to do with some business stuff, yeah, doing some admin work, his perfume, yeah. So he told me what to do. Then I think whilst I was doing it, he went to his room, then he came back. And for some reason, I just started crying. Then Pastor asked me, why are you crying? And to be honest, I did not know why I was crying. I was just emotional. And because he's a pastor, I feel like the atmosphere, the presence of the house probably got me, being emotional. And I think Pastor said, is there anything you'd like me to pray for you about? Then I just said, I just needed God to help me with my immigration status, my documentation. And before Pastor said that, before Pastor said he would pray for me, he said God had laid it on his heart to mentor me. And I was in that kind of stage because remember, I don't have any documents. I'm looking for a job. It was a very difficult situation. So being a mentor to me at that time and a pastor and mentor to me was, I just felt like I had someone that will hold my hand in the journey that I'm going through. Of course, I have my mom and dad here, my sister, and they've been very, very supportive to me. So I'm so happy and in that season of like, of course, I'm very prayerful. We are a spiritual family and everything, but it's always good to have someone praying for you. And you know what a pastor means. It's a shepherd, they will guide you. And I feel like in that situation, I needed someone to guide me. So I was kind of praying for that as well, but I didn't know God will use the job that I'm looking for to give me a pastor and a mentor. So I did not just get paid for the money, but God also blessed me with a pastor and a mentor. And before Pastor prayed for me, he said, God will do it in September. And bear in mind, when I met Pastor, we were in March. So I was like, oh my God, like more than 5 months of waiting. I really need, this document as soon as possible to help me with my financial situation and everything. But just the word kept me going because at least I have a timeline that in September something good will happen. So I was just waiting, and in September, I definitely believe that the Home Office might have sent it through, but I got the physical copy in October. So just a month after Pastor gave me the prophecy. So it also goes on to say that when you have a word, you still have to tarry in prayer whilst you're waiting. I think just God wanted to just, try my faith a little bit to say, okay, I said September, it's not here. What are you going to do? And in that season of time, it reminds me of the story of Daniel. Sometimes your prayer will be released in, when God has given you a word, but you still have to just wait a little bit, just keep on praying, just keep on believing. And this is how I met Pastor in 2018. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And from that getting your immigration papers, what shifted in your life? What else changed?
Of course, the liberty to travel. And Pastor knows it's something that I've always loved to do, traveling around the world. Financial stability, and I mean, I was able to do work, and I have financial freedom. I don't have to worry. Oh, where will I eat? Where all the future plans I have in mind. I feel like it brought me a step closer to achieving all these goals. And thank God for the word that was spoken to me, that kept me going. But the whole idea of not being caged, because when I was waiting on God for my documents, I just felt like I was in a cage and I didn't know what to do. But once the word was released, it just gave me speed and to have something to look forward to. And at the moment, I'm still happy. And of course, Pastor is still in my life, and I'm also still in Pastor's life. I still receive mentorship and his guidance, and him just being a pastor and shepherd to me. God knows that is what I needed. Even after the testimony, you still have to still surround yourself with people that will encourage you. And I think me just having my document also gave me more clarity in life as well. The future, the goals that I had in mind, because even while Pastor was mentoring me, he did tell me to write down my goals, what I want to do. So although I was still in the season of waiting, I still had things that I wanted to do. But of course, I was a bit caged at that particular time. But when the word came forth and his mentorship and everything, it just guided me to move forward. And at this present time, I feel like I'm free. I have the liberty to, go anywhere I want, to just enjoy the good things of life that God has in store for us.
And through the mentorship and, as you said, your goals, has there been one specific goal that you saw came to life in fruits?
Yes, definitely. So in the area of my education, so of course I was able to go to uni because I came when I was very young. So I was able to go through the old education system. But when it came to looking for job, it was a bit of a cage. So with the mentorship, Pastor did still tell me to write my goals down, like I said. And even the vision of writing a book was also part of my vision as well, because I was an introvert and I just felt like, having a pen and paper, writing my story down, at least I don't have to show the world, but it's between me and God. And the idea of having a mentor to guide me with my goals, one of the main, of course, most of my goals have been fulfilled, including in writing a book, which it was a word Pastor gave to me as well. And also in the area of career. So whilst I was waiting for God to give me my documents, I was a cleaner, I was a babysitter, I was just doing a little job here and there. But now, by the grace of God, I've been able to be a bit of freedom whereby I can be what I want to be, which is just working with children. And that is actually one of my main goals that have actually come to pass, aside my book and other freedom that I've gained just being under the mentorship of Pastor Lumi. So I just bless God for his life as well.
And you mentioned this book. Can you tell us a bit about the book?
Yes. In I think chapter 3 of my book, I actually shared my mentoring experience with Pastor about how I met Pastor. So yeah, make sure you check it out. So this book, it's just little nugget to keep people from going. So in my situation of waiting for like 13 years, there's been things that I've been through. So moving from one career to another, like being a cleaner at a very young age. I just felt like the little I've learned in the 13 years whilst I was waiting, I tried to put all in a book. Of course, it's never enough, but it's just to show people that even if you have a dream and things are not going the way you want, you can always look forward to what God has spoken about your word. And the prophecy that Pastor gave me, like I said, it gave me a timeline that, okay, I'm waiting, but I'm not waiting in vain. That I know that in September it's going to happen for me. And that's how I feel. I wrote my goals and vision down through the mentorship with Pastor. I've always knew that I'll write a book. So whilst I was waiting, I was still doing something. So I was not just waiting in vain. I was still, learning from him, learning from other people, watching videos, anything that is in line with my life goals and careers that I wanted to achieve. So in this book, I just talk about my experience in life, mostly in the waiting season. Just so if you're waiting, of course in life we all have to wait. We have to wait for our food when we are in the restaurant. We have to wait when we are looking for a job. We have to go through the whole interview process. You don't even know whether it will be a good news or not, but you have to wait. And waiting in God is different from when you're waiting in the world, because in the world you don't know what you're looking for, but when you're in God and you're waiting, you know that God has a purpose and plan for you. In Jeremiah 29:11, that's actually one of my favorite scripture. I was waiting and I knew God has an expected end for me, and having this book is literally one of the expected end I know God was doing in my life. And so I just shared some few things about what to do whilst you're waiting. Even if, let's say, you're a cleaner now, that does not define you in the next 5 year time. So first, you're waiting in God, and waiting in God, like I said, is never in vain. And this is why I came up with the whole title of Never Wasted. So whatever we are doing in life is never in vain. It will push you to another level. Make sure you're waiting in God. Don't wait in vain, but make sure you're waiting in God.
That's very inspiring words. Thank you so much. And for the viewers, that are watching, do you have any last kind of inspiring words or anything else that you would like to say?
Yeah, I would say definitely make sure you're in God, even no matter how difficult your situation is, because there's unexpected end, and that's what Jeremiah 29:11 tells us. There is unexpected end. When you are in God, you have peace. You may, of course, we still have worries, we still have a doubt, we still have a fear, but waiting in God is different. You know He will come true no matter what. He's not a man that will lie. He will always come true for you. And make sure you have a strong community of friends. So Christian, if you're a child of God, make sure you have a community of friends with you, because they will encourage you. One, change 10,000. With two, you can change 10,000. When you're going down, someone is lifting you up. Make sure you have a mentor. Thank God for Pastor Lumi. His guidance, leadership, even up till now, he still guides me in the area of my relationship, in the area of my finances, honoring God, honoring man. I've learned so much from him, his wisdom, his encouragement, prayer. And of course, we have a community where we stay in touch with each other. We are praying for each other, giving word of encouragement to each other. So whilst you're waiting, I believe there is time and season for everything. So make sure that you have a goal in mind as well. Make sure your dream is always validated. It will always come to pass no matter what, once you're waiting in God. So I pray that anyone will come to the saving knowledge of Christ. What God has done it for me, He's more than able to do it for anybody, unless you don't trust Him. But once you trust Him and you know that He is there, He will come true for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All my words fall short. I got nothing new. How could I express all my gratitude? I could sing these songs as I often do, but every song must end, and you never do. So I throw up my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a heart